maybe if I took this psychedelic compound, it would bring me out of this bad state of mind that I was in. And boy, was I wrong.
What'd you do? Because I can't move on without this moving like we never.
What's up, you guys? Today I'm going to be explaining some of the most crazy, intense experiences I've had taking psychedelics, different compounds. I do not suggest that anybody try these without doing the proper research, be informed, time, setting, place. That stuff really does matter with this. So all in all, I don't recommend trying any of these. I'm just sharing my personal story. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first one I'm going to get into is this crazy trip I had on 2CB. Now, at the time, we thought that this was acid. My buddy said they'd got some acid in. We assumed that's what it was. They'd taken it and said it was like really strong, super crazy. A lot different than other normal trips that they've had. We'd later go to find out that this was not acid at all. So me and my buddy, I think I just got off work and we were going to hang out and my friend was going to stay the night and he'd never tried acid before. So I was like, yeah, man, this stuff is crazy, dude. Opens like a whole nother dimension in your mind. You can see all kinds of crazy shit. Your hearing is enhanced. Your visuals are totally wild. It basically takes you into another world. So he's like, all right, man, I'm down. I want to try it. So we ended up going to pick up the acid from said person. Acid, right? And we take this stuff, man. It's in like a drip, right? So one of my buddies puts it under his tongue and my other buddy put it in like his eyeball, dripped into his eye. And I was like, dude, I'll just take it up the nose. Cause at the time, unfortunately, I was famous for putting stuff up my nose. I don't do that anymore. But so I dripped this stuff up my nose and I had to go get my sister from town. So I expected, you know, this stuff would take like normal on acid, a little over an hour to start kicking in. And I was like, all right, so yeah, dude, when's this stuff start kicking in? They're like, dude, you should start feeling it in about 5 minutes. What? I was like, dude, I gotta go get my sister. So we took off, jumped in my car, take off. Before we even got to the highway, this stuff was going full mode peak on my ass. It was shit. The car, I was driving in my car, started to kind of condense in and everything around me was like tunnel vision, like a box in the road, and the signs were spinning and changing colors and it was fucking insane. And my buddy had never tripped before. I was like, shit, dude. So I look over at him and he's like in his seat doing this. He's like feeling himself and he's like, dude, am I tripping? Am I tripping, bro? I was like, if you have to ask yourself that, you're tripping. This shit was insane. I somehow made it the 15-minute drive into town, got there, went to get my sister, and I told her, I was like, fucking walking up to the glass and knocking, and I called her because her job was closed and I was waiting to pick her up, take her home. I was like, we got a problem. You're going to have to drive because I'm tripping balls right now. And my buddy, I get back in the car and we're waiting. He's like, dude, I gotta pee, bro. I gotta pee so bad. And I was like, all right, dude, maybe you can knock on the door and let you in to go pee. He walks up to the place my sister's working and starts knocking on the door. And he looks over and just freaks the fuck out and starts running back to my car, freaking out. And he gets in, he's like, dude, all those people. I look over and I was like, dude, there's nobody here. He was imagining that there was like people there and all kinds of crazy shit going on. And the funny thing is, he was imagining all this stuff going on like to the side of him, and there was people and shadows everywhere. And somebody really did actually walk up to the door while he was running off, and it was fucking hilarious. They probably knew we were on drugs. But so my sister gets in the car, starts driving. We're in the back seat. They're playing Bring Me the Horizon up on the speakers pretty loud, and it's fucking insane. And my sister keeps looking back at us and like mimicking the lyrics and singing them. And it was fucking terrifying. My buddy, he's like, dude, stop. And I'm sitting there just like, whoa, enjoying it. It was insane. Well, we end up getting back, and my sister and her boyfriend are trying to load a bowl of weed so we could all smoke, because smoking weed on any psychedelic compound will boost your experience. It will almost double the experience for a short, extended period of time. So they're loading it, and I see the top half of my sister's boyfriend looked like this. He looked like you and I, our figure, and the bottom half of him down to his legs, my reality halfway down from my visuals turned paper. Like, he looked like it was paper. His head looked like it was kind of smashed in, and I was just like, whoa. And my buddy was seeing the same stuff because we'd talk about it later, and it was going on. And the hearing was enhanced. I could hear people talking from outside of the house that I assume were real conversation, because it sounded like my family inside talking. I was hearing all this crazy stuff going on, and in the middle of this insane trip, not even the middle, like maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours in, my mom woke up and she walked into the garage where me and my friend who were tripping and my sister and her boyfriend that were smoking weed were at. She walks into the garage, and that's my worst fear because my mom can be the scariest woman alive. And I'm just traumatized. I look at my buddy and I kind of like mouth and I'm like, keep cool, dude. And my mom's like, what the hell is going on in here? Because we're making a bunch of noise, I guess. And I kind of creep behind my mom and look at my buddy who's over on the couch, and he picks up his acoustic and starts like kind of playing real shitty. And I look at him, I'm like, good job, dude. My mom turns around, I'm like, what are you doing? So what the hell's wrong with you? I was like, nothing. She ends up going back inside, and that trip was just extremely wild. 2CB can be a dangerous compound. One of my friends ingested a bunch of this stuff and ended up convulsing and I guess almost having seizures and had to go to the hospital. These can be very dangerous compounds if you don't know what you're getting into. It's 2CB is, from what I understand, another research chemical that doesn't seem to be safe in high doses. One dose could do you wrong. I am no expert, and I do not pretend to be. As many psychedelics as I've done, I'm lucky that I've, for the most part, gotten good stuff. That was my 2CB trip. We ended up going outside a little after that to try to calm down, and me and my buddy are sitting in the car after my mom walks off, and we're sweating. We're like, oh, just listen to this fucking insane music with our hearing just enhanced and just crazy noises, hearing all the programming in the songs, the digital audio that we'd never heard before. And we're sitting there on this dark road, and I'm like, man, I'm like kind of paranoid. I'm like, I don't know if we should be out here. I don't know if the music's too loud, because you're tripping. You feel really stupid usually. And it's like, maybe we should go inside, bro. And my buddy's just, he screams. He's like, we're good. And he just had this meltdown for a second. He's like, sorry, man, I'm good. He's like, dude, literally no one's going to pull up. What are the chances that the one car that pulls up on this dark road is a cop? A minute later, we saw headlights coming up behind us that were from just car lights. And it's driving up, and we're laughing and shit. We're like, yeah, dude, it wouldn't be a cop, the one car that went down our road. And it was a cop. It was, at the time, my neighbor, her father was a cop. He fucking pulled in, and me and my buddy were like, I was like, I had that 6 acids, that 6 2C, I just spit. I had that 6 2CB sense, that 6 2CB sense, man. I knew that this was a cop. He was just off duty, though. He went inside, didn't know anything. But, that was my 2CB trip. It was fucking insane, dude. Went and laid down to go to sleep a little later. I was petting my family dog, and it's fucking wild, man. Went to sleep listening to some Periphery. Crazy shit. That was my 2CB experience. So there's a little bit of the crazy shit that can happen on 2CB. Visuals are heightened, in my opinion, way more than acid has ever been for me. This next one I'm going to talk about is a mushroom trip that I had that went pretty bad. You know, it's all about time and setting. When you go into these trips, you should have your body pretty healthy, not be consuming a bunch of alcohol. Alcohol and psychedelics sometimes don't mix. Sometimes they do for others. A lot of my friends, me even personally, there's a lot of times I was drunk and took psychedelics. But mainly it's about setting time and place. If you're having a bad mental place in your life, you don't want to be taking these compounds. It will basically enhance anything you're feeling. And even in a sober, clean, fasted state of mind, taking these compounds can do a lot of damage to you. If you even have one really bad thought, sometimes it can be hard to let go of that darkness and get out of the thought itself. And that's something was happening to me about a year ago, something real bad. Lost a lot of stuff in my life, and it was just a really bad time. And I had this stupid thought that maybe if I took this psychedelic compound, it would bring me out of this bad state of mind that I was in. And boy, was I wrong. Took these mushrooms. A few seconds later, it's about a girl I was with for a long time, but she'd text me and she's like, I don't think this is going to work. I don't know what to do. And I had just minutes from taking the substance, and I was like, this is how my trip's going to go. And it got really bad. It got really intense. It got really dark. The inside of my home on these strong, I think it was penis envy, the type of mushrooms it was, really strong, started kicking my ass, man. I was going into the darkest place. I was freaking out. I was scared. My visuals were closing in around me. Everything was like really tight and dark because that's the place I was in my head. I was in this chaotic, alcoholic, horrible, dark, depressed, mentally destructive place before I took the shrooms. And so I was going through all that, and then getting that text message on top of it, because at the time that I took them, I thought things were going to kind of work out, and it didn't. I got that text. I lost it. I jumped in my car before I hit my peak. I hauled ass to my brother's. Somehow I made it. Don't ever drive on psychedelics. That is such a stupid idea. It's no surprise I didn't kill somebody, let alone myself. I get to my brother's, knock on his door, and he opens it, and he was like, "What's up?" And just kind of looks at me. I was like, "Dude, I'm tripping really hard. I need somewhere to stay." And he got it. He's like, "Come in." These assholes. I come in there and lay on the couch, cover up in a blanket. I'm laying there, I'm freaking out. And my sister-in-law keeps waiting until she sees my eyes closed. I'm laying there, she goes, "Meow." And they have cats. So I'm like, "Oh shit, dude," I'm jumping up. I'm like, "Am I fucking laying on the cat? Am I killing a cat on a psychedelic compound? I'm gonna go to jail for murdering a cat under the influence of psychedelics." The kitty wasn't even there. She kept making this noise. It scared the fuck out of me. So like the third or fourth time I was like, "Please stop." Their faces were all morphing and twisting and falling, and everything was just spinning around and stuff. And I lay there, and they're watching, I think it was Vikings, and in one of the scenes, some guy was like, "Christian," and that's my name, and I thought I was hearing it in my head, and I'm laying there, I'm like, and my brother had looked at me at the same time, dude. We all just started dying. We all started laughing so hard. And that one good thought kind of got me out of that dark place, just that one funny moment, which is another example of if you can find the humor or the love in life and focus and breathe, to get out of a bad trip, it's possible. You just have to, one mood is enhanced by the psychedelics, and that just made my day. I was like, I'm with my brother, I'm with my sister. That was really funny. It was really goofy because I thought I was in my own brain saying my name because of the psychedelics were so strong. And it was just off this TV show, and we all just started laughing and kind of got up and started calming down. And then the famous thing that seems to happen every time I've taken shrooms, or at least once every couple of years, our family dog likes to run away when we're on shrooms. So my brother, he kind of looked at me laughing kind of because he knew I was on shrooms, and that's when it tends to happen. And he was like, "Well, the dog ran away." And I was like, "Fuck it, I'll go with you." Went looking for our dog on shrooms. I was on shrooms. Fucking weird. It's wild. But yeah, that was a crazy trip. It was a really dark place for me at that time. I haven't taken psychedelics since that point, and I probably won't for a long time because I'm on a self-healing journey, basically. Been sober for a while now, quit alcohol, trying to get my mind right, and then maybe I'll take another adventure down the rabbit hole at some point. I'm sure I will. But have you ever tried dimethyltryptamine? DMT, baby! DMT, dimethyltryptamine, that is in the pineal gland. Did I say that right? I'm gonna get made fun of. The gland in here produces it. Can be produced, I guess, when you die or when you're born, they say. Dimethyltryptamine, DMT, probably the strongest psychedelic on earth. I didn't go that far into the hole when I tried this substance, but I tried it, or I smoked it with some buddies of mine, and I actually had smoked it one time prior with my family member. Won't go into saying who. But, yeah, my buddy beside me, they were all trying it, and I was kind of nervous. I didn't really want to go that far into the rabbit hole, and I wasn't ready for it. And they're all smoking it and taking this stuff. They're just out of their mind. They're like, my buddy's like, "This is SpongeBob land. What is this? What is this?" And I told all my friends, "No, I'm not going to do it." And then don't ever peer pressure somebody into doing psychedelics. But since I've done so many, I was kind of all right. But my buddy's like, "Come on, dude, just do it. Just smoke it, dude. Just fucking hit it. Just fucking hit it, dude." And I was like, "Oh." My buddy beside me, my best buddy, was like gone. He was gone. And I was like, "All right, you got my brother here. If something happens, I got my boys." It's like, "Give me it." Held it in, hit it. He's like, "No, dude, hit it again." And hit it again, and I had to stop. I was like, exhaled, dude. The world kind of spinned in. We were watching, I think, Ed and Eddie on the TV. It just looked like the whole world became digital and geometric, and my body, I felt like I was having the worst anxiety attack of my life for a second. It was just so overwhelming. It happened within a couple seconds, and I didn't go that far except for the extreme state of like this world that was trying to form. It was like my body was trying to step into this realm, but I didn't take enough of the substance, and I wasn't ready to let go. I didn't take enough to let go if I was ready or not. I wasn't able to slide into that space, and I was just on the edge of it, just on the edge of breaking through this extremely godlike psychedelic substance off of the dimethyltryptamine. And so, like, it's really intense, and it's like my body's overwhelmed, and I'm not out of it yet, but I starts to come down kind of fast, you know, because I wasn't straight in there. And I look over, and I'm wearing this cowboy hat, and my buddy stared at me. He's like, "Whoa!" Like, I could tell he was out of his mind, and he could tell I was tripping too. And looks at me, and I'm just wearing this cowboy hat. You probably saw a fucking space cowboy, dog. That's probably what I looked like. Fucking wild, man. Like, I didn't go that far into it, but that's definitely on the bucket list for later, to actually go further down the rabbit hole. Dimethyltryptamine is insane. You shouldn't be taking these compounds unless you're fairly experienced and you're in good mindset. You've studied up about what you're doing, setting in place. Make sure you're around good people. Shit's fucking wild. I didn't get that far in, but I thought that'd be a story worth kind of sharing for it. And the darkest 10-minute trip of my life was on salvia. It was nothing in particular made it dark. Nothing made it insane. Nothing made it horrifying as far as the mental state I was in. But the drug itself was fucking insane, and I never want to do it again. So we went to hang out with one of my buddies one time. He said he had some salvia. He wanted us to try, wanted us to smoke it. And so we go over there. We're like, yeah, me and my boy have done acid and shrooms, 2CB. We can do this. We can do this. So we go, and he sits down and puts way more in there than he said he did. And he lets us light up. And my brother, not my blood brother, but my boy, took a big hit of it. And he started to be like, whoa, and just look all gone. I was like, give me that shit. So I inhaled it. And as I inhaled, my world went like this, and everything was spinning. I exhaled, and everything was flying. And I could look over in the explosion of color and circles of the world that were fucking spinning. And my boy's on the ground, dude, crawling out to the fucking door, and he's puking. And I was like, oh shit, dude. And it's just fucking insane. It lasted just like a few minutes probably, but it was just so uncomfortable. It was so uncool. I just, I don't know if it's just me, if it's him too. I just did not enjoy the salvia experience. It was so insane, and my body was actually numb for hours after that. We drove back to my house without even barely talking, man, once we'd come down a little bit from the psychedelic experience. And I remember we got to my house, I jumped in the shower, dude. I'm like slapping myself. I'm like, dude, I can't feel nothing, man. My body's numb, and it was just downright fucking terrible experience. It was bad. I didn't enjoy the salvia experience. It's terrible. But those are my few little trip stories for this vlog today. Make sure that you are in a good setting and place with people that you love and trust. You've been experienced. You know what you're getting into when you're going into these substances. I recommend doing a lot of research. One of the best ones I've ever seen on YouTube is you can check out Psych Substance. He goes into the detail and harm reduction on a lot of these compounds that you'll be putting into your body. So that was that. And love you guys. Stay safe. If you want to enlighten your mind and open yourself up, do a lot of research, and you might find yourself in the next realm. Love you guys. Thanks.
Where you wanna be, I can't